Operation Early Dawn is taking place in the United Kingdom, where they're releasing real violent criminals to replace them with their own native Brits that were protesting the immigration policies. We're talking about this crime against humanity and so much more here on Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. This segment is sponsored by My Patriot Supply, providing emergency meal kits to American patriots at preparewithvnn.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Let's start the show. Well, Modernity.news reports that the United Kingdom is no friend to freedom, and we're finding that out right now as protests and riots against the invasive immigration policies that have led to the death and raping of young girls across the country is now being met with force by the government. Violent criminals will be released to make space for social media thought criminals. Yes, it is now more illegal to post something that is unpopular, even true, about immigrants than it is to actually kill the native young population. Starmer, the Prime Minister, fails to answer whether it will pose a risk to public safety. Let's talk about this. The Labour government is set to release thousands of criminals, including those convicted for violence, in order to make room for prisoners sentenced in connection with rioting, which includes people who made inflammatory posts on social media. Yes, really. In an effort to tackle the jail overcrowding crisis, Labour has ordered the release of 2,000 prisoners on a single day next month, in addition to second tranche of up to 1,700 who will be released in October. Criminals who have served 40% of their sentence or more will be freed, partly to make space for Brits convicted for their role in anti-immigration riots over the last few weeks. Some of the individuals will be convicted for their role in inciting the riots, didn't even appear at the riots, but instead made a social media post which contained things as anti-establishment rhetoric or posted misinformation about the Southport attacker being a Muslim refugee. Now, this is like true, right? This is insane. If you got your facts wrong, you go to prison for inciting violence. And if you're mad about the immigration policies, you also can go to prison. Insane. Kathy Gingell said Insanity squared nearly 2,000 prisoners to be released on a single day to make way for the armchair rioters, carers, and pensioners. Listen to this. Here's what BBC had to say about this. I still can't believe this is happening, but then again, it's the United Kingdom. Watch.
We will guarantee a prison cell. We will make sure that those people who need to be in prison will be in prison, not necessarily in the area where they live. They may be 200-300 miles away from home, but we will guarantee people a prison cell.
With the numbers are so tight there, how can you make that guarantee?
They are tight, and that's why we've initiated Operation Early Dawn. So basically, the easiest way to describe it is one in, one out. So as people get released, we can then pick up people from police cells and take them to court, and we will triage that 3 times a day.
So they're going to release real criminals, like people who committed actual acts of crime, not just like misunderstandings, basic altercations, confusion on consent. These are like real rapists and attackers and people who maliciously went out to hurt people because they're mad about your social media posts. And if you don't think that it could get any worse, well, let me explain to you, it actually does. So as the Telegraph actually reported, those released from prison will include criminals convicted of violence who have been jailed for less than 4 years. In other words, actual violent criminals who haven't even served half of their prison sentences will be out on the street so that boomers who posted spicy memes on Facebook can be locked up. When Prime Minister Keir Starmer was asked if releasing criminals early posed a risk to public safety, he even struggled to answer the question. Now, we have the clip for you that I want to play here in a second, but I got to remind you how insane this is. Now, many of you realize a couple of things. You know, I'm a proud American. I don't deal with this kind of stuff, but I know they're coming after our rights. It's why I'm very prepared, not just with ammo, not just with body armor, but right now with the mega 3-month emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply that are jam-packed with 33 varieties of delicious foods. Not only does that include creamy chicken-flavored rice, old-fashioned Italian spaghetti, and savory cheesy broccoli soup, but also you get a bonus protein kit with diced beef, flavored chicken chunks, and 3 varieties of beans, plus 9 different fruits, vegetables, and snacks. All in all, this emergency food kit provides a whopping 2,500 calories per day to keep you well-fed and ready for anything. The way I see it, it's the solemn duty of any American to protect my family without waiting on handouts, and that starts with food that you can depend on for 25 years. Go to preparewithvnn.com today, preparewithvnn.com, and you can save $300 on your mega 3-month emergency food kit. It ships fast and free. Go to preparewithvnn.com to save $300. Prepare with VNN. Now, as I mentioned here, the Prime Minister had a thing or two to say about this. Now, if you want to listen to what he had to say, listen to this clip. It's absolutely egregious and a crime against humanity. Watch.
Sir, is there any risk to the public safety from Operation Early Dawn, either in terms of policing operations that may now be postponed or from prisoners being granted bail who would otherwise not have been?
Well, these decisions are really tough decisions and nobody wants to take them. They're difficult decisions. They're having to be taken for one reason, for one reason only, and that is the terrible inheritance on prisons that we had as an incoming government from the previous government. There was a basic failure, which is a failure to have enough prison places for the number of prisoners that were being sentenced to prison. That is about as basic a failure of government from the previous government as you could possibly have got. We've had to deal with that with the additional strain of the disorder of recent weeks. But as I hope we've been able to demonstrate, we've taken tough decisions. We've been able to prove that if you commit disorder, you can be expected to be put through the criminal justice system quickly, and we will continue in that vein. But I'm not going to pretend that this isn't a challenge. We will take the necessary tough decisions on this, but we should never, ever have been put in a position that we're in today. Thank you so much.
But with respect, you haven't answered, is there a risk to public safety from this new
managing
operation?
that risk, and of course, these are tough decisions. But I think you've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks the way in which we've approached this, which is to make sure that any risk is mitigated, to make sure that we do have the spaces available for the prisoners that we need to be held in prison. We've managed that against very difficult circumstances, I can tell you. And for my part, I think the response of criminal justice to the recent disorders has been a major reason that the disorders have subsided for the time being. Thank you.
All right. So as we see there, I mean, look, he can't make any guarantees, but this is the state of the world that we live in. Now, if you disagree with this, I'd love to know your thoughts down below. And don't forget to like the video. But if you want to pair up with alternative media like this show and make a difference in the country, make sure you sign up for our newsletter at vigilantnews.com and subscribe to our Rumble and our X accounts at Vigilant News. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.